Right, hello. It is the 19th of February and welcome to today's trade recap. Um, Let me know how your trading session went today. It'll be interesting to see what happened within the market today, but without further ado, let's get into it. So, Forex Factory today, we had unemployment claims at 8:30, but I trade after 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. New York time anyway, so it's all good in terms of news. I do expect some sort of manipulation to occur on 8:30 though, right? Because quite a high impact news event. Okay, let's have a look at the daily. So on the daily chart, we see we closed above the previous day's candle, right? So you can see we closed above. We obviously had the displacement of last week's low, right? We didn't displace through, we swept through, so right, and we did the same thing. It's very messy, but you can see there we go, bang, there we go. We displaced through, okay. Now we came into the daily gap, right? However, so obviously you can see on NQ, ES, sorry, ES and NQ, we actually come into the daily gap, right? We close completely on NQ, but we do not close it completely on ES, right? Now, thing is, we went from external liquidity being swept, which is last Friday's low, into internal liquidity, which is the daily bearish gap, right? The next draw should be external liquidity, which could be in the form of yesterday's high, or the swing low formed on the Tuesday, or today's low, okay? Now, these are the focal points, and I was paying attention to them, okay? I was paying attention to them throughout the day. But however, within the consolidation, I thought that we were bullish, okay? Kind of took it as bullish buy because we closed above, and I was expecting price to reach a little bit higher, right? Okay. We can also see if we draw out the range from here to here, you can see that we're in the premium, right? See, in the premium. That's on both assets as well, of course. Now, obviously, once again, I'm looking to see what the 4 hour or the 1 hour provides in terms of confirmed price action. So let's go on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, let's actually select the bar, move back to here. Okay, so for both of them, what do we see? We see that. Right, I don't know if you have the intruder. Why is my floor wet? Right, fuck my life. Back on track. My dog pissed right where my feet go under my desk. Anyway, right on the 4 hour. So we could see that we were let's actually check the 4 hour analysis, what I say. We got a similar thing to yesterday, right? Where bullish PDAs are being respected. We can see down close candles, right, being respected. So we tap into this order block, run higher, right? Here, run down a little bit into say halfway of this entire level, move higher, right? We still have some room on NQ and ES when it comes to targets for internal liquidity relative to the daily. So what I mean is here, right? That candle. Okay. I don't like how this bar just doesn't move, man. It's so annoying. Does the bar move? Sorry, man. Yo, everything is pissing me off today. I need to just be chill a little bit. Now let's have a look at the hourly, right? This is where we got a little bit nicer. So what did we see? On the hourly, actually zoom forward a little bit because this is Wednesday. Right. So we had hourly arrays being respected. Did we not? No, we actually see price actually reversing to the downside. Okay, this is movement continue from yesterday's price action, right? So yesterday's price action reached the daily gap, and we start to break down a little bit, right? Not really a clear price action on the 1 hour for the time being. Okay, so let's go into the 50-minute, and let's see what happens in New York, London, sorry. So, here we are. That's what London does. Okay, we have sales liquidity here, sales liquidity here. On 50-minute, we can see that for midnight opening price, we move higher before moving lower, right? London session, we see a rather volatile decline, right? Taking out yesterday's evening session lows as well as Asia's, right? If we see this area get whipped and not displaced through, it can confirm further bullish price action. However, I do not see London reaching any key levels at this current point in time. Therefore, analysis of London could be voided, right? It becomes a thing where we wait for New York to open to provide some form of manipulation, etc. Okay. Now, looking at the 1 hour on NQ, right, we can actually see that we run into a bearish gap right here. Run into this bearish gap and we react off of it in London, right? Strong reaction. Okay. This is acknowledged, right? But my overall bias was still bullish. Okay, it was still bullish. And I think this is where I made the mistake, right? We saw displacement on the hourly, right? And then we see a massive displacement lower to take out these lows. Okay. This was London reversal in itself. Okay. It was about being adapted to the market, and I feel like I kind of failed this. Okay. Now, London, we can see London declined and took out a 1 hour level of sell-side liquidity. Another thing I should have actually paid attention to is that London taps into this twice, takes out its own sales buy-side liquidity and rallies lower. Okay, this is the more important part here, right? Yeah, because this was the target, this was the manipulation, this was the distribution in London. Okay, same thing here. This was the manipulation, this was the distribution. We moved higher before we moved lower. Bearish day. Okay, now let's see what happens when market opens. So this is currently 525. So let's actually just go into the 15-minute and actually zoom our asses over to open. 7, 8:30. So that's the news candle. Okay. And here we go. 9:30 open. So New York AM opens. We see that we sweep pre-New York AM lows, right? Price could be translating higher. ES had a change in the state of delivery at this point here. So the low gets taken out. We have a change in the state of delivery. Okay. Whereas NQ did not have it like just yet. I'm looking at this candle here, right? Yeah, it did not have it, whereas ES did. Okay. What I wanted to see was price to rally in here, okay, and then continue lower. Okay. Well, let's see price rally into these internal bearish gaps, right? So we went from external to internal as well as external, and then go back to external. Okay. Now, looking for a buy sweep on the 50% level, which was here. So we can see, I actually get rid of this. We can see that the 50% level of this entire range is around here. We can see the sweep, and then we also run into the 50% level, right? I was waiting for a displacement lower, okay? Buy-side liquidity gets taken on both assets. So we can see it gets taken on both areas here. And the only thing making me go short would be a 15-minute or a 5-minute change in the state of delivery, right? I want to see the candle fail to displace through this area here. I want to see it fail, right? Next candle. Bang. On the 15-minute, I'm pretty sure. We get exactly what I want. We don't get displacement through. We should get wicks, okay? I'm interested in shorting. I was interested in shorting NQ because it had better targets. We had low, low, and low, 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 low. Not really. So we had this low, and then that far low, right? Maybe even this one, which I didn't even pay attention to, which is great. To be fair, my day at work was all over the place. I literally got back from site and then I had to hop straight on the chart. Now, we've got the 4 hour. We've got this 4 hour bearish gap I wanted to see price react off of. Right? ES did not have one, but NQ did. Okay. If this 4 hour gap gets displaced through, my bias will flip back to bullish. I was at this point, I was rereading through my notes as well as just kind of reading the market actively to see how I should react to price. Okay. Bang. All right. Now, I was just waiting to get a 5-minute change of the state of delivery, or a 15-minute ready. What happens is we get it right here. I think I entered on ES. Yeah. So we got it. Literally, this is a change of state of delivery. And I entered. This is the entire leg. Oh my god, wait. Let's actually go to the time frame to see the trade. There we go. So we had the, is this a, I think it was on like a 2-minute gap. No, it was on a 1 minute gap. So I entered on the 1 minute gap here. Stop loss set at the most recent high. And then targets for obviously all those external lows, right? So let's actually play through what happens. Price taps into this gap and runs me out straight away within, what is that, a 2 minute trade? 1 minute trade? Yeah. So I executed off a 5 minute change of state delivery. We were in a premium, and obviously I was expecting price to continue on lower. However, it did not, right? Price ended up stopping me out very aggressively, right? Now, here is where I break my rules, right? So let's see what happens next. Look, what are we in, right? If we just look, what are we in? We are in a consolidation. Okay, we're in a consolidating range. You see, bank. Right now, what do? I entered off of the sell side, liquidity sweep, and then a 5 minute change of the state delivery, which was here. And then I wanted price to retrace back down and go for longs, right? Now, why did I think like this? Well, because we were kind of trending up, right? At this point, we're trending up, and then in the morning, I saw this sweep, and I was like, all right, well, we might actually be reversing higher, okay? Reaching into these gaps and then taking out the London highs. Same thing happens. We kind of play about, and then we go up a little bit, go up, and then we get stopped out again, okay? So that's what happens. But yeah, this trade, ignore this. I didn't take this. This is just me marking it up. Yeah, I didn't take any more trades after this. So yeah, both of these trades went wrong, and that's okay. So the lessons learned from today's trading are: overall look on the day, we flipped from a bullish higher time frame bias to a bearish short term, which was the correct decision to be made, right? I analyzed the hourly, and we saw that we were hitting these gaps and we were displacing lower off of them, okay? We were respecting bearish price action, weren't we? This is just a headache, man. It just looks like a barcode. Look at all these wicks. This is just disgusting. Awful price action. But yeah, one mistake that I can easily tell that I made was the lack of patience, right? It was straight up just lack of patience. I could have waited for the next hourly candle to come out. So if I waited, boom, well, we would have had within the same consecutive candle, we had a change of the state delivery, and we had a retracement back into this order block, right? Which would have confirmed my bearish price action, right? If it displays through, right? If it displays through here, that obviously would confirm a bullish bias, and the next target would likely be here. If it didn't, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do, aka this, then obviously we know we'd be targeting external lows and such, okay? London had a clear move to the downside too. So this was a London reversal unit continuation, right? And at the end of the day, I commented on myself saying I would be really surprised if price moves on higher on this day, okay? I'd be really surprised. And I said, if that's the case, then obviously I'll go back and I'll start doing more analysis when it comes to daily profiles and market profiles and stuff like that. So, thing is, this trade would have became a 1 to 2-ish, right? Oh, what did I just do? Okay. Yeah, I would have been stopped out here if I took the trade hypothetically, because that's the intermediate high and would have been taken out, and that's completely fine. That's better than nothing, right? Let me check on the 5 minutes so it just clears up the chart a little bit. You can see that we, on this like spectator trade, we actually take out these equal lows. We fail. I think this is a SMT, right? Sweep here and SMT here, so we can actually see bullish price action happening. We have a change of state delivery. Yep, nice. Is it a 15-minute? Yeah, nice. We get a change of state delivery, and we can obviously expect price to rebalance here and target these disgusting fuck-ass highs, right? Now, the lesson learned on the first trade, I felt like both trades gave me a rush of euphoria, right? And if you guys don't know what that means, it's just kind of like a blissful feeling. We're like, oh, it feels great, right? And on top of that, it kind of felt rushed, right? I'll be completely honest. One thing I'm noticing, though, is when we actually go to this trade, the 5-minute change of the state of delivery held, right? And obviously, this trade was just taken in the wrong direction. Wait, it's the wrong trade I'm looking at. This one. That trade was taken here. The first trade was actually in the correct direction of the bias, right? But we can see that the 5-minute, let me actually open up so just so we can see the 5 minute change of state delivery. It's kind of what got me stopped out. And on top of that, we entered a consolidation. Now on the 15 minute, if we have a look, we actually don't get a change of state delivery, and this would have saved me. This would have completely saved me. And then later on, we get an SMT. Look, we get an SMT here. I get taken SMT, and I could have caught a nice move, right, all the way up here. But that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and cry. Like, I think what I need to pay attention to is the 15-minute change of state delivery, as it holds more power, right? The higher time, each fractal higher time frame holds way more power than the other, right? Sometimes that's going to work on the 5 minutes, sometimes it won't, and that's completely fine, right? Now, yeah, as mentioned, obviously I took a trade within like a consolidation range. I don't know how to get myself out of this situation. Like, I do this a lot on the trades. I always enter within a consolidation, and I don't know when it's about to form. You know, like that's like the hardest part to kind of spot, because here it kind of looks like the market is beginning to now trail down, but then obviously it just goes back into equilibrium. Runs out, goes back into equilibrium. Runs out, goes back into equilibrium, and then it breaks out. Okay. So yeah, overall, I feel like it was a rush trade, and I should have remained more patient. Now the second trade. Okay, where is the second trade? Yeah, this is the second trade. Second trade was just straight all over the place, and it should have never been executed in the first place, right? So first of all, I went against my trading rules. Why? Because I traded twice. I told myself I'm only risking 1% a day last episode, and I went against the rule. Second, I didn't follow my strategy, right? We didn't have a sweep. We didn't have a sweep, and yeah, it was just a very wrong trade to take, right? Did we even have a 5 minute change? We had a 5 minute change to state there, but it was such a wank one, I think. Yeah, I looked at here. That's the change to state delivery. That's the displacement down. I thought price would continue on high, and obviously it doesn't. Okay. Yeah. And then third, this felt like a revenge trade. Like, I was actually kind of pissed when this one went wrong, but obviously now looking back at it, it's super clear why. I should have just looked at the 15 minute. We didn't, because the 15 minute and 5 minute kind of couple together, don't they? Like, if you've got a 5 minute candle that's like, say 10, 12, when it closes, the 15 minute closes as well, right? So kind of looking at that is important as well. But yeah. I need to remain composed, right? Even after taking a loss, because moving uncontrolled is what could lead to blowing a whole account in the future, right? And that's the last thing that I want. Okay. Right. Now, given these two trades, right, I feel like I might not take a trade tomorrow. And just take a break and backtest, right? I just want to enter the market with a clear emotional view. I mean, I feel completely fine. Like, it's not like I'm still daunted on this trade, because I feel like I've read the market correctly. That's what matters to me. Understanding the market is what matters to me. It's not about being correct in a trade. I literally cannot give a shit. If my overall bias on the day is correct, that's what I'm there for. You know, like that's literally what I care about the most. I'm being dead ass. Um, and yeah, so I think what I might do is I bought a walking pad, like treadmill. So I'm gonna set that up. I'm gonna eat something, have a little snack, and then I will come back and do a backtesting session. Just one quick one, and yeah. So that's that for today's trade recap. Sorry for all the baloney at the beginning, but yeah. Hope that helped, and I'll see you guys later today. Bye bye.